The United States is conducting a ton of clandestine missions in Somalia and across the Horn of Africa that we never hear about. From covert raids on ISIS cave networks, to building up local counterterrorism units, and hunting foreign fighters. Today, we're going to piece together open source reporting, leaked details, and on-the-ground accounts to do a deep dive on a legitimately insane American black op in the mountains of Puntland. First, we need to know about the guys pulling this mission off. America's special operations community has this bad habit of showing up in the most miserable real estate on Earth. In East Africa, that means the Cal Miskaad mountains of northern Somalia, a jagged wall of limestone and scrub dropping into the Gulf of Aden. For years, that range has been the perfect hideout for smugglers, pirates, and jihadists. ISIS-Somalia looked at this landscape and saw a natural fortress. The US and its Puntland partners looked at the same map and saw a shooting range with extra steps. The operation we're zooming in on takes place in the Baladay Valley, a narrow cut in those mountains. Before dawn, US Special Operations Forces and Puntland counter-terrorism units launched a joint assault on a cluster of ISIS hideouts and caves that had already been softened up by drone and airstrikes. According to Somali outlets and regional reporting, this was not a small raid. Over 100 American operators were flown in on MH-60 helicopters, with MQ-9 Reaper drones circling overhead and smashing cave entrances as the assault force moved in. Their objective: eliminate a senior ISIS commander, collapse his mountain network, and finish breaking ISIS-Somalia's last real stronghold in the Cal Miskaad. To understand why this valley matters, you have to zoom out from one night raid to the wider campaign. Since late 2024, Puntland has been running a major offensive called Operation Hilaac, basically Operation Lightning, against ISIS and Al-Shabaab in the Bari region. It's the biggest push this semi-autonomous state has mounted since the Kandala campaign of 2016, and it's backed by US Africa Command, American Special Operations units, and even some Emirati air support. Puntland claims that by late 2025, around 700 militants have been killed and dozens of bases wrecked as they sweep through about 250 square kilometers of mountain terrain. ISIS-Somalia didn't start as a huge army. It grew out of a splinter faction of Al-Shabaab, led by the fiery preacher Abdul Qadir Mumin, who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State back in 2015. The group dug into the Cal Miskaad range, used the ports and smuggling routes to link up with Yemen, and slowly carved out a niche built on extortion, assassinations, and trafficking. Over time, its importance inside the global ISIS ecosystem quietly grew. Analysts now describe ISIS-Somalia as one of the movement's most active international hubs, sending money and direction as far as South Africa and Afghanistan. In January 2023, a US raid in another cave complex in northern Somalia killed Bilal al-Sudani, the group's main financial wizard and a key facilitator for ISIS globally. American officials said he had been wiring money and guidance to cells across Africa and even into Afghanistan. That raid alone showed just how plugged in the Somali branch had become. Fast forward to late 2025. ISIS-Somalia has been battered by Operation Hilaac and US air power, but it's not dead. Pockets of fighters still hold out in the mountains. Some are locals, others are foreign fighters from Syria, Turkey, Ethiopia, and further afield. Those foreigners matter. They bring expertise, connections, and propaganda value. According to Somali officials and reporting, the Baladay Valley hideouts hit in this raid were sheltering roughly 10 to 15 militants. Small numbers on paper, but this was the inner circle around a high-ranking commander. So who are the people flying halfway around the world to kick in these caves? The US isn't naming units, but the usual suspects are Army Special Forces, Special Mission Units under Joint Special Operations Command, Air Force Special Tactics teams, and the intelligence crews who make all the toys work. These are the same kinds of operators who hunted ISIS in Syria and Iraq, now operating on a smaller but equally complex battlefield. Their partners, the Puntland counter-terrorism forces and security forces, are some of the more capable local units in Somalia. They've spent years in the same mountains, fighting both ISIS and Al-Shabaab. This is the classic by, with and through model. American troops bring airlift, ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and precision firepower. Puntland brings local knowledge, language, and the ability to hold the ground after the last American helicopter leaves. When it works, you get exactly what Baladay Valley turned into, a joint hammer blow, where the US provides the sledgehammer and Puntland decides where to swing. Let's walk through the raid as it likely unfolded. A few days before the assault, MQ-9 Reaper drones and strike aircraft began hitting key entrances and outbuildings in the Bakuji and Mariro areas of the range. These were not random strikes on suspicious-looking guys with AKs. Analysts had spent months mapping the cave systems, tracking foot traffic, and listening for radio chatter. When the same set of foreign voices keep disappearing into the same tunnel, it's a safe bet you found something more than a man cave. Those early strikes served two functions. First, they killed some fighters and destroyed outer defenses. Second, they pushed whoever survived deeper into the cave systems, where their escape routes are limited and where ground forces can trap them. It's the counter-terrorism equivalent of smoking out wasps, only with 500-pound bombs instead of bug spray. On the night of the raid, sometime in the early hours, a package of MH-60 helicopters skimmed low over the Black Mountains, flying nap of the earth to avoid early detection. Reaper drones overhead streamed live video and signals intercepts back to the mission commanders. More than 100 US operators were on board, kitted up with night vision, suppressed weapons, and enough gear hanging from their vests to set off every metal detector in East Africa. At the same time, around 200 Puntland troops were maneuvering on the ground, having moved into blocking positions and assembly areas in the days prior. The helicopters flared into Baladay Valley, kicking up clouds of dust and loose rock. As the Americans hit the ground, Puntland elements advanced on the lower slopes, pushing toward cave mouths and dug-in fighting positions. ISIS fighters had prepared an ambush, using the high ground and pre-sighted firing lanes. According to Somali reporting, there were close encounters with foreign fighters during the first contact, suggesting small teams of hardened veterans rather than a large, undisciplined mob. For the next 3 to 4 hours, the ridges echoed with gunfire and explosions. ISIS militants used small arms, machine guns, and improvised explosive devices to try to keep the assault teams out of the caves. Some attempted to trigger explosives in choke points along narrow mountain paths. In response, US forces called in precision strikes from the Reapers, using laser designators and coordinates broadcast in real time. Puntland troops, more lightly equipped but fully at home in the terrain, pressed up through gullies and dry riverbeds, clearing bunkers and rocky outcroppings one by one. Cave fighting is notoriously ugly. You're moving through pitch-dark tunnels laced with booby traps, with enemy fighters who know every twist of the passage. Some of these Cal Miskaad caves have been used by smugglers and militants for decades, reinforced into multi-room complexes with storerooms, firing points, and escape shafts. As the joint force pushed inside, they found weapons caches, bomb-making materials, communication gear, and evidence of ISIS's side hustle. Equipment used for illegal gold mining, which has been one of the ways the group finances itself in the area. It's basically an underground terror-funded strip mine. By the time the echoes died down, the mission had achieved its main goal. Somali officials and local media reported that a high-ranking ISIS commander had been killed, along with several close aides and between 5 and 10 fighters. Others were captured and whisked away for questioning. US Africa Command confirmed that its forces had conducted a counter-terrorism operation in northern Somalia and reported no American casualties, but, as usual, declined to name the target or give a full casualty figure. On the ground, Puntland security officials framed the raid as the fourth phase of Operation Hilaac and a major step toward clearing the remaining ISIS pockets from the Cal Miskaad. So what does knocking out one commander in one valley really change? For a small insurgency like ISIS-Somalia, leadership nodes are everything. Research on the group shows that its senior figures play overlapping roles. Commanders are also logisticians, religious authorities, and liaison officers to ISIS Central. Removing one of these hubs doesn't just decrease the headcount, it disrupts flows of money, expertise, and orders across the network. That's exactly what analysts concluded after Bilal al-Sudani was killed. His death forced ISIS to reshuffle how it moved funds and directed operations across Africa. This Baladay Valley raid aims for a similar effect at the regional level. There's also a morale component. Imagine you're a foreign fighter who's trekked all the way from Syria or Turkey to join this invincible mountain jihad. You're told that the Cal Miskaad is impregnable, that the caves are safe havens from drone strikes and raids. Then one night, MH60s and Puntland trucks roll up your driveway, and suddenly your impregnable cave has a Reaper missile lodged in the front door. That encourages defections, desertions, and a healthy amount of maybe this wasn't my best life choice. At the political level, the raid lets Puntland's leadership show its own people, and the rest of Somalia, that it can take the fight to ISIS. President Saeed Abdullahi Deni has staked a lot on Operation Hilaac, promising to eradicate both ISIS and Al-Shabaab from their mountain sanctuaries. Every successful joint raid with the US bolsters his argument that Puntland is not just begging for outside help, it's leading the offensive with elite local forces. For Washington, these operations are proof of concept for a light footprint strategy. Small teams, precise raids, and local partners instead of massive deployments. It's cheaper, more sustainable, and a lot easier to explain back home than another full-scale invasion. Of course, this is still counter-terrorism, not a Marvel movie. There are plenty of ways things can go sideways. Civilian casualties, real or alleged, can hand propaganda victories to ISIS or Al-Shabaab. A helicopter crash or a botched target could turn a quiet success story into an international incident. So far, reporting indicates that the Baladay Valley raid hit isolated militant positions, destroyed weapons depots and illegal mining gear, and avoided civilian areas. But that clean outcome is a tightrope, not a guarantee. There's also the classic whack-a-mole problem. Crush ISIS in one valley, and survivors may scatter to another part of the mountains, slip into cities like Bosaso, or cross borders into Yemen and beyond. Crisis Group and other analysts warn that ISIS-Somalia has already evolved into more of a transnational financial and facilitation hub, moving money and guidance across continents. Airstrikes and raids can disrupt that, but they can't by themselves dismantle the online recruitment, the local grievances, and the governance gaps that make groups like this attractive. Still, if your goal is to stop ISIS-Somalia from turning the Cal Miskaad into another large-scale caliphate project, this is exactly the kind of pressure you need. Deny sanctuaries, keep leaders on the move, and constantly remind them that the sky does not belong to them. Operation Hilaac's ground sweeps, combined with US raids like this one, are gradually shrinking the safe spaces where ISIS can train, store weapons, and plan attacks. One Puntland official recently claimed that the militants are now reduced to moving on foot, buying goats and cows just to survive in the mountains. When the global caliphate is haggling over livestock in a drought, the strategy is doing something right. There's a wider strategic signal here too. For years, analysts have warned that as ISIS lost ground in Iraq and Syria, Africa, and especially regions like Somalia, would become the new epicenter of jihadist activity. UN and US reports now echo that concern, highlighting ISIS-Somalia's growing international reach. By hitting a senior commander in the Cal Miskaad, the US is sending a message not just to militants on that particular ridge, but to ISIS branches from the Sahel to Central Asia. There is no quiet front where you can regroup without being watched. And all of this is happening in a country that is already juggling a full-blown war with Al-Shabaab, clan conflicts, drought, and political upheaval. Somalia's government has been mounting its own major offensive against Al-Shabaab in the south and centre, while AMISOM's successor mission tries to transition security responsibilities back to Somali forces. Puntland's fight with ISIS in the north is another front in the same war, preventing jihadist groups from carving out permanent safe havens from which they can threaten not just Somalia, but the region and beyond. So when you see a headline like US Special Forces eliminate ISIS commander in Somalia, it can sound small. One name, one valley, one night. But behind that line is an entire ecosystem of intelligence analysts poring over satellite feeds, local informants risking their lives to pass on grid coordinates, drone crews flying in circles over the same patch of dirt for weeks, and Somali soldiers hauling themselves up rock faces in the dark. It's a global machine designed to do one very specific thing: find the people who think they're safe and prove them wrong. Somewhere in a secure room right now, someone is replaying the Baladay Valley raid on a screen. Every radio call, every muzzle flash, every drone feed, taking notes on what worked and what needs to be better next time. Because there will be a next time. Maybe not in Baladay, maybe in another valley with another unpronounceable name. Maybe targeting another ISIS financier who thinks a cave equals invisibility. And somewhere else, another small team of operators is already rehearsing in the dark, climbing mock cliffs, clearing mock tunnels, getting ready to step into a very real valley on a very real night. That's the reality behind the quiet press statements and the one-day headlines. US Black Ops in Somalia aren't flashy, and they don't usually trend on social media. But for ISIS-Somalia's commanders hiding in the Cal Miskaad, they're about as loud as it gets.